Hey, I know it's dark. Happy Tuesday, if such a thing exists. I left for work a few minutes early. When I say a few, I mean literally a few, like 3 minutes early. So I'm headed here now, and I'm slightly ahead of the game because the arms just lowered for the train. So the 520 is leaving. It's gonna come zooming past me right now, which means I have 15 minutes to get to work. I think I'll make it. I'll be fine. So last night I was very cryptic in my video, which wasn't really the plan. I wasn't trying to be all vague. I just didn't feel like talking about it because I was so bothered. But now I can kind of give you an accurate assessment of what's going on. And I've made it up in my mind that I don't want to talk about it today at work. Like, if I bump into coworkers and they say, hey, how's it going? I don't want to get into this story with them because it's over, it's past, I'm done with it. Let's move forward. I'm chalking it up to the fact that swing shift is shitty. And oddly enough, despite the fact that day shift micromanages everything, we still seem to get more done. So anyway, California law states that this company, well, security field in general, can ask you to stay up to 4 hours over. And I've fallen victim to that once or twice. Like, I don't know if you remember, I did a video where they tried to make me do it, and I said no, and I ended up getting a write-up. But since then, I've stayed quite a few times. In fact, almost every time they asked me, I've stayed. So yesterday, I'm at Cal 1 Alpha, which is one of the spots I hate the most. And I don't want to say hate, because it's fine. It's perfectly serviceable in terms of a rotation. But I don't like standing for my last rotation. And I don't like that one because it's very difficult to get relief, because it's one of those spots where you can't leave until somebody replaces you. So I had been counting down since like 1 on when it was time to leave. So finally it hits 2. All my friends are leaving. And they're like, hey, Patrick, you holding over? I say, nope. Just waiting for relief. So about 2:05, I'm like, that's weird. So I give it all the way to 2:10. Because I'm that kind of guy. And I call and I'm like, hey, sure would like to go home. And they're like, oh yeah, we know. Sorry about that. We'll see what we can do. Just hold on for 1 second. It's like, okay, cool. So 2:20 rolls around. So I have to go in the booth and I call the office on the phone directly. And I'm like, I gotta go. And they're like, well, unfortunately, the person who is supposed to relieve you isn't here, so you have to stay. No, the fuck I don't. No, the fuck I don't. Now, had you come to me during my shift and said, hey, can you stay? I probably would have said yes, because I was having an okay day yesterday. Had you come to me, say 1:30 in the afternoon and said, hey, we're going to be short, can you stay? I would have said, I don't really fucking want to, but I would have considered it. But when you tell me at 2:20, almost a half an hour after I've already gotten off, that I have to stay late because somebody called off, no. And then they tried to make it sound like, well, we'll give Watch Commander a call and see what they want to do. I'm trying to do you a favor so you don't get a write-up for abandoning post. And I'm like, oh no, sir. I didn't abandon my post. I did my time, and now I'm going home. And you need to give me some leeway before you try to make me stay. Like, arrangements have to be made. Like, let's say I really did have somewhere I needed to be. Like, you have to give me the time to make those arrangements. Maybe if at 2 o'clock they came to me and was like, hey, you got to stay. So sorry. We're going to go ahead and give you your break. You go ahead and do whatever you got to do. Make arrangements. If you need a few extra minutes past the 2:30, we get it. But we need you to stay. I probably would have been like, damn, they probably in a bad way. All right, cool. I'll pitch in. I'll do my part. I'll help out. But what they did was, had I not said anything, I probably would have just been standing there because they weren't even aware of the fact that I was still there until I called them. And then to try to make it sound like you were doing me a favor. I'm already off. Like, it's not as though they approached me and said, this is mandatory, you have to stay. Sorry about this, you're next up for rotation. I would have been like, sucks, but I get it. But the fact that I just did 2 days of overtime on Thursday and Friday means I'm not in the rotation for that. Secondly, you didn't inform me during my shift. You told me after the shift was over. That don't count. You didn't give me time to prepare. Like, I do have a life. It's not just intercon security. I got other shit to do. I plan on getting naked and sitting around with my wife. What the fuck? So finally, about 2:30, they called me and he's like, yeah, okay. I talked to Watch Commander, told him you had a family emergency, you can go ahead and head out. Excuse me. So I said, okay, that's all fine, but I want to be very clear. This is not a family emergency. I'm just going home. It's time for me to go home. So let's not mark this down as family emergency. You didn't do me a favor. You are letting me off a half an hour late. So I have done you a favor, you know? So I've made it up in my mind that I don't want to talk about this shit at work today. And I say that, but it's probably going to come up once or twice. I'm sure. Because I know me. But I'm going to actively do my best not to mention it. Seriously. Because I just want it to be done. So, here's hoping for some decent rotations. Here's hoping for a good shift today. And come home, do it again. What's funny is it's up until the last minute at work. I was having a good day yesterday. I really was. Everything was fine. But then they pulled that shit on me. Oh, and then there was the threat of a write-up. But I don't want to talk about that one at the moment. I need to hustle to get down here to this train. But I'm sure my snarky ass will come and report what that was about. You know? So, what's that? Alright, so I'm just about here. I gotta get moving. Sorry for the shit quality. I get it. It's dark, but it's also like not even 5:30 in the morning yet. So, you'll have to bear with me. See you when I get off.